Easy peasy, easy peasy. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on, to be honest.
Yep, stretch it out, get it all out. We're here, babes. VAS week number 4. Welcome back to the Victor's Amateur Series, guys. I'm Beautiful Crow. Joining me on the desk today, I have Kevbo, and joining us for the first time is going to be Volt. Say hi, guys.
Hey, hello everyone. How are you doing? Pleased to be with you, both Crow and Kev. How are you doing today, guys?
Pretty good, pretty good. Excited for some Becky Rita gaming tonight.
Yes, absolutely. As we do have the matchup for tonight, it's going to be Lit Club Esports versus Natural Selection Infinity, as these are two very storied organizations in the Victoris ecosystem. And like we said, we love us some Becky Rita. Their team is here, Lit Club Esports, and it's really interesting because, like, you look at this lineup for Lit Club, and it has so many like familiar long storied names on it. Like, I mean, Blossom Vane is in here. We got Becky Reed in here as well. It's super dope to see them, but going up against them, though, is also a very storied team in this ecosystem. Natural Selection Gaming Infinity. This is so funny to me because, like, in spring and in summer, Natural Selection had multiple teams. It seems like they've Captain Planetized, combined all their powers into one to bring us Natural Selection Gaming Infinity. And they always, they're always like a top 4, top 6 finishers. They're always really good, but they have so many good players on this team. Of course, the one that always comes up first is the legend himself, Karma Divine, leading his team to victory as much as he can. And we'll see if we'll be able to do that today.
Yeah, both of these teams in a little bit of a rough spot at the moment, starting off the season 1 and 2. So a bit unfortunate, but this might end up, if both teams continue heading in the direction they are, trading games back and forth, this might mean that this match really, really matters, especially come the end of the season.
Yeah, I think that much will matter, but especially like you're talking early on. It's week 4, so a lot of the teams are still warming up. You can just say, okay, yeah, these first 2 losses were jitters, and now is where we pick it up. So both teams are put in that peculiar situation where a win would absolutely like boost your morale, put you in a much better platform to advance in the further weeks, get into playoffs, have a good seeding into playoffs that makes the run much easier.
Correct. Because after this, there's only 3 weeks of the regular season left. Remember, we're on a 7-week round robin period, not an 8, not a 9, 7 weeks. So this week 4 is where all the teams really want to be getting their butts in gear and really making sure they lock them down and get those wins. Because both of these two teams, they're tied for the 5th and 6th spot. Only the top 6 teams, I believe, from each group get into playoffs. So,
6. Wouldn't it be top 4?
It's top 4. I'm sorry, top 4. All right. So, playing for this 5th and 6th spot, rather, it's the race. The race is 100% on from here on. Both of them are tied at 1 and 2. It's weird because like everything is so tied in this Group A, and for Group B, like you see 3-0, 3-0, 2-1, 2-1. 1-2, 1-2, and 0-3, 0-3. So like literally every single game that happens now is also important in this Group A as well, looking into Group B. So this is like do or die situations coming in here, and with both of these two storied teams, it's really interesting to see them towards the bottom of the table and see how they have been having this season, or the split rather, so far. We're gonna have to talk about what they're gonna have to do to push forward and push through.
Yeah, I think it is important, however, as well, to note the match history here. Natural Selection Gaming, all of their series went to 3 games. They were able to win in the first week. Their first series went to 3 games. Their second 2 series, they got 2-0'd both times. So going to be coming in off of the back of a couple of bad weeks for them. On the other hand, Lit Club, all of their series have been close. They've been the ones that have gone 2-1 or 1-2 in all of their series. So close games thus far for Lit Club. I expect them to come out with some spice as well. Looking at these champ pools and having ever interacted with Becky Rita, you will know that There's probably going to be some off meta. There's probably going to be some fun. So I am looking forward to maybe some craziness in the drafts here coming up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The drafts. We know. I believe Becky said something in one of the caster chats or whatever, saying it's like, "Oh, I hope you're ready for tonight." So whatever they're cooking up is going to be something spicy. So I'm ready for it.
Definitely, and you can count me in, especially on the off meta stuff. Like, we were talking green room pre-show a little bit about stuff like Ivern. I'm on the copium. I'm on the Ivern train. I'm a bit of a menace myself. I play a lot of Ivern mid, so that's beyond the point. But I'm expecting some very off the chart stuff because you need to throw the enemy onto the left field here to get that win. It doesn't matter how you get it. You just need to get this win for the mental edge, and then you can go back to playing your game and getting your foot on the door.
Absolutely. Go for it, Kev. By all means.
I was going to say, on that note as well, I do think it's also important to talk about the fact that Natural Selection are going to be playing with a sub jungle for this series. A little bit of a health issue, unfortunately, came up. So we will be seeing a sub into the jungle, which will be, let me make sure I get the name right here. It will be Frosty is Chaos.
Yes, Frosty is Chaos.
Into the jungle there for NSG Infinity. They are a support player, so we really don't have any clue what they're going to pull out. There is some Amumu support, but other than that, not really a whole lot.
There is that one-off Ivern game.
Yeah, the little one-off Ivern.
But yeah, but there are, like, of course, we talked about the Amumu. You can even bring something like the Maokai that was played support for a while.
Yeah.
It's now back to being pretty good in the jungle. So you also have that option.
And also Hecarim is overpowered and not difficult to play. So definitely could hop on that bandwagon, we are on the most recent patch, so all the supercharged champions ready to rock for world season as it is. And I love that about the amateur scene, because we kind of get to see what some players might be musing and could be cooking up with potential picks coming for Worlds next month. So we might see the start of some crazy tech going.
I would not at all be surprised to see both Misfortune and Hecarim just get permabanned until the next patch. They are both giga busted at the moment. So also in this series, I do expect Maokai to be banned. I think that I see a lot of both sides playing this matchup. So should be kind of those three, I think, are going to have really high priority in this series.
Yeah, mind you, speaking of champion presence, because that was a stat that I was very interested in Victoris as a whole. So in VAS, the top 3 presence of champions are Sivir with almost around 80% of Big Plus ban. Then it's Seraphine with 78.6%. So that's already very close. Almost 80% presence for the Seraphine. That is going to be a big contested pick. And outside of that, it just falters extremely downwards. You're talking Sivir, Seraphine almost teetering that 80% threshold. And then the next thing is Trundle 58, Victor 55. So it gets down in the 50s, and then it gets down in the 40s from 6 to 10. And in the 10th place, you have Sejuani with as low as 37%. So you can tell that a lot of the presence charts are just bans for stuff that people do like, or they end up in these very easy to play and get out of lane champions like Sivir and Seraphine.
Yeah, I think Seraphine also is something that's probably going to have a lot of priority here.
Yeah.
Seen both sides play. It's in both of the mid laners and I think the AD carries champ pools. So another one of those things, it is priority picked. I do think that it's not in nearly as good of a spot as it was. So maybe not as much priority, but that just means that it's probably a little bit more likely to get through the bans.
Right, and I do believe a lot of those picks and whatnot, it's just we are victims of the meta the past few patches. Sivir, Zeri, always super strong. Seraphine was super strong as well. Just a lot of these picks that were very dominant in pro play. So, of course, that's going to trickle straight down to the amateur level as well. And just vice versa. So, it was just super dope for them to get all that like just get all that down here. So now we have to see. This is the beginning of the new patch. So now we have to see what people have been theorizing, what they have been doing for the past week. I do agree. Maokai and Misfortune probably going to be permabanned. Maybe Hacker on there too, or they might just say handshake it and get straight into it. You know.
Yeah, that could be an option, to be honest. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that that's absolutely a possibility that we just handshake on these, but at the same time, I think with the players that I'm seeing in here, I would not at all be surprised to see just crazy picks. Just let's ban what's meta and all pick I'll pick something crazy as Becky saying surely there will be no clownery in this game.
Yeah.
Maybe a hint at some possibilities to come through.
It's a possibility there.
Let's see. Well, we have a lot of options. And speaking of the picks and the stuff we were talking about, you have a lot of players here that will have comfort picks that I think will be extremely targeted. Like, if we're gonna look at the side of Lit Club, you have Q13. Like, the guy is basically an Urgot main, so
yeah,
pretty much that's gonna go off the charts, and then he's gonna go back to the meta stuff, the Wukong, the Ornn, and whatnot. Becky, he just can't ban the guy. Let's be honest. He can't ban anything for them. It's like whatever shenanigans they're gonna pop up, you already see in chat. It's like, yeah, we be clowning, we do be clowning. So that is at least on the side of like Lit Club. Then on NSG, you're seeing Vyakula is on. I'm not gonna say the Uu. No, I refuse. You have the very lane dominant top with like Darius, Renekton, and then like some chill tanks with Cho'Gath, which could be a good shout against a lot of the meta top, just based off how the amount of it's in the name. Yeah, it's in the name. Plays Morgana mid, so that's also based. So all of these stuff are gonna be very intriguing, especially when I think that like one of the main factors of the game for Lit Club, if you want to regain your momentum, has to be Becky, because Becky has the 5th highest KP in the league at around 75%. So that is 75% KP. And he's hinting something that will be off left field already. So let's see how it will go.
I'm excited to get into it. I really am. Waiting for everybody to load up in the lobby and, get ready to rock and roll. And like, I really want to see some, like, I know they say no clowning picks are going to be picked, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe them. I don't believe it for 1 second. You mean to tell me we're on the week start of a new patch that is active and you're not going to pick something crazy? Pff, you're not fooling anyone. It should be a close series, though, between both of these two teams, all things considered, all things aside. Shall we get to the predictions?
I think with a sub jungle and their games being a lot closer, I think that Lit Club are going to win this. I'm going to go ahead and put a stamp on it. I'm going to say this is going to be the second 2-0 of the season.
Oh, okay. Volts, what say you?
I mean, I'm looking at the situation right now, and I'm very intrigued about Blossom Vayne, because he has been ineligible for the longest time, and now this is the first time that we're gonna see that matchup. We're gonna see Blossom Vayne and Aminaki in bot lane. So that much in itself is giving me a little bit of an edge to say it could be a 2-1.
Okay.
But to who, I think I would actually give it to the side of that's hard. Okay, I'll give it to the club.
Okay.
I believe in the shenanigans. I think the shenanigans will be out to steal out one of the games.
All right. Well, we have the 2-0, we have the 2-1. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just join in unity with my brethren here. I believe in Lit Club. I believe in the vision. They got the 5 strong. No shenanigans going here, quote unquote. Maybe it'll be the 2-0. I mean, look, every time we cast, there's generally just been, 3-game series. But I'm hopeful for an early night for once, maybe. Maybe I jinxed it. Who knows? We'll have to see. But I'm saying Lit Club with the 2-0 as well.
It's funny you mentioned that, though. I was I was looking back through the history of last split and this split. There have been two series that have only gone 2 games, and one of them got negated because it was found out that the team that 2-0'd was smurfing. So
Damn.
unfortunate, but I think this is it. I think this is the second official 2-0 series. We'll have to see though. This is a very close matchup. Like I said, I really was leaning towards a 2-1 until I saw the sub jungle. Of course, they could pull something out and go crazy, and it end up being a 2-0 in the other direction or a 2-1 in the other direction. But that is yet to be seen. As right now, we are kind of just waiting for some players to load into the game, but for now we're going to throw it to a little bit of a break. We'll be right back in just a moment for our draft. See you there.
Stay tuned.
All right, and welcome back everybody to the draft for our fourth series of this season. It is going to be Lit Club Esports Parables versus Natural Selection Gaming Infinity. We are just waiting for ours from these teams. Bolt, any thoughts about some spicy things we might see coming through here? I know you had a nice list prepared.
I mean, from what I've figured, from just like looking through the OPGGs and seeing what people are playing. So Becky's wild card can almost bring out anything. I would say both will probably play something akin to a control mage. And theoretically, you can flex the Seraphine to mid. okay, as here we go. As I was gonna say, on the other side, you just have Karma Divine, and you're gonna want to ban the Karma. You want to take out the control mages. We're seeing the Hecarim being taken away as well.
Yeah.
So that much is just, I would say, a flavor of the month more than any comfort thing outside of Becky. I think Becky plays a fair bit of Hecarim.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think it's also just super, super strong. There's no horsing around with that one. It's just good right now. I still see a couple potential power picks as possible to come through here. And they are just actually targeting Becky. Udyr, not a great win rate, but something that Becky is very comfortable and has played a lot of. It looks like MF might also get through here if Lit Club decide not to ban it.
They elect to ban Darius with Baika, and that is gonna Baika. I think it's Baika. Yes, Baika. So they're electing to ban that, and they're also gonna ban the Mumu, which looks like the signal that maybe they want to play something that engage would be a good option into. So maybe we'll see the Seraphine. Maybe she'll even be ADC, as that's something that Blossom Bane is very proficient on. So we're just waiting on the final ban, and it
there it is.
shall be.
That makes a lot of sense here, but Seraphine's still going to be up a huge flex and a power pick. So they really had to pick between the two there, I think, at the end, on whether you want to ban MF or Seraphine. Or Misfortune, of course, in like a just phenomenal spot after the buff that they gave her for Worlds. Of course, Seraphine's still a huge early flex pick. Should come in clutch with draft thus far. Kai'Sa, not at all surprised to see that one though with the immediate follow. Kai'Sa Nautilus, very historic pairing there in the bot lane for NSG Infinity.
Yeah, and it's one of the staples of Kai'Sa, the Nautilus matchup. You get a lot of plasma stacks just off hitting Q passive. And then the all-in potential is there. Once you have your evolved Q, it's also much more lethal. But still, like having the Seraphim, maybe we'll have something that we have like the Lulu here. That is just gonna say, well, you're gonna engage, I'm just gonna pop him shield and turn you into a squirrel. And yeah, that's it. Good day to you.
Yeah, now the question for me is, are they going to pair the Lulu with the Seraphine into a Nautilus? I think that sounds a little bit rough as a 2v2. You really want to power pick for Becky, of course, like we said. A really strong pick, Nocturne going to come through. I still would not at all be surprised to see an AD carry get picked up in the second rotation for Lit Club as well, though.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but the fact that the option itself exists is a very dangerous proposition for natural selection gaming, because maybe you think it's gonna be Seraphine Lulu, which can work, because then you'll have like insane wave clear and you have the Lulu to back up the Seraphine with just the shield, adding the surround sound on top of it, and suddenly the Seraphine is very good and very healthy. We're gonna see the Volibear here, which is gonna be something, Kevbo, that just signals the going comp. So they're already shown their intent on both ends. So we have a team that is gonna play super defensive, and all they're gonna do is just wait onto like the cooldowns of like the Nocturne and what we'll have in the second rotation. Meanwhile, on the other end, we're just seeing a team that wants to go in, and well, now you're gonna take the Karma away, because the Karma is that catalyst, the facilitator that's going to help the Volibear, that's going to help the Nautilus, the Kai'Sa, to weave in and out of these situations. And on the other end, we're just seeing, well, the comfort bans. Like, we're seeing Ku, his Urgot is taken away, and then we're seeing the Kog'Maw in case you want to protect the Kog'Maw comp, which was a possibility. You can still elect to go another hyper carry. You can still have Tristana, you can still have the Sivir. All these options are valid. So what will we have for our last ban? Let's see.
Zandra going to be the one that comes through right now. NSG, like you said, looking with a pretty strong all-in comp. I don't think Lit Club, on the other hand, has a very strong identity thus far. Of course, they can flex a lot But Nocturne really one of those champs that wants to go in and blow up the backline, but it is just more tanky stats here. I gotta be honest with you. If Lit Club plays Vayne, I think this is a huge Vayne angle.
Yeah, that is a very big Vayne angle. We're talking about these pocket picks. Well, we're gonna see the Kennen and
Oh my word.
ooh, would it be?
I don't think so. I think they're baiting us. I really think they're baiting us with this one. But
Just
Nocturne
waiting.
mid is a possibility. I really don't think they're going to flex the Nocturne to mid lane. They still haven't seen the matchup.
Yeah, they still haven't, but let's see. It's 3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes
Okay.
a lot more
That
sense.
makes sense, but it's much less fun though. I was
uh,
like, yes, clown me. Yes.
for a little bit
But
of
yeah, it makes a lot more sense, Kevo. Like you can talk about it, but I think Aurelia is much better equipped to deal with these like much more tanky frontliners than what the Shaco would have been.
yeah. Also, I really think that the AD there is going to matter a lot for them. Because of how AP heavy they were. As the Morgana mid lane actually going to come through here for NSG Infinity.
Pray. We shall all pray for the great Karma Divine. Bringing out yet another banger with the Morgana. One of his specialty picks, and it's gonna be absolutely massive in this situation because a lot of what Lit Club want to provide here is picks. You want to have the Nocturne ult. That is gonna be the one thing that will be a little bit difficult to handle because the limited vision of the Paranoia. But outside of that, maybe you're trying to get something with an Encore, with like Slicing Maelstrom, or with the Blade Dance. So you have these abilities that are very pivotal, don't deal that much damage, and suddenly all of them are gonna be disabled, and your pick potential is lowered massively. So we're gonna see maybe Lit Club is gonna decide, okay, let's play a more of a team fight comp instead of trying for picks. But that leaves NSG with that option. So let's see how is that gonna pan out from here.
Yeah, the thing that I'm interested for though is how they do decide to end up playing this earlier. I do think that Lit Club still have really good team fighting ultimates. Of course, Nocturne can kind of just jump onto the backside and pick off either this Kaiser or the Morgana, but in the same vein, you have this Wild Growth and Encore and Slicing Maelstrom all going to be huge team fighting ultimates that should be able to cut through NSG pretty well. Of course, they are really tanky, so extended team fights going to go very well for them, I think, especially with the Ornn. It really is just going to matter whether or not the Kaisa and the Morgana get picked off early.
Yeah, I mean, like, the whole point, I think, of what LCE is trying to build here is just, okay, they are big tanks, but do they do enough damage, is the question. Because a lot of what the Morgana does in mid lane is going to be wave clear and damage on the situation that you can have the Dark Pool, or the Black Pool, I don't know what it's called, on the ground. So the dive is there as like Gawking Karthus is initiating. Like, yeah, the dive is there, and all you need to do is just pick up the Kaisa. And suddenly the side of Natural Selection Gaming doesn't have the DPS to match. Because Nocturne will be very good in the extended fights. Just if he builds these at tempo, you have a lot of shielding from the Seraphine, from the Lulu, a lot of DPS from Aurelia. And Kennen is just going to provide that little bit of magic damage to push them through the line. So if that works, if you kill the Kaisa, you win. If the Kaisa manages to survive, or they pick one of the more important members, like maybe they pick Blossom Vein on the Seraphine, or maybe they pick the Aurelia off, or find a way to escape the ultimate combo, then it will be a very hard situation for Lit Gaming.
The early game for NSG, I think, is really where they are going to shine against this Lit Club comp here. Pretty much every single one of the members on Lit Club, I feels like, wants to scale. Kennen really wants some items. Probably going to be wanting a Void Staff as well in there at some points. Same with Seraphine, probably going to be the one that spikes earliest, I would think, with the Leandries into these tanks should be really good. But in the same vein, The matchup 2v2 bot side, I think, is really favorable for the Nautilus and Kaisa into these two enchanters that are going to struggle with early damage.
I mean, one of the more interesting matchups for me, Kevbo, and I would like to hear your opinion about it, is the Aurelia Morgana matchup. Because Morgana can just say, well, I don't know. I don't feel like playing the game. How about this? How about I put a W down? I don't want to play the game. I'm not gonna even let you get in range to like try to stun me and get a pick. I'll just play super safe. I have my Q when you're dashing in, so you're gonna be interrupted. So that option is there. So how do you think that this dynamic between the Morgana and the Aurelia is gonna fare in the mid lane? And how will it spill over to the two side lanes and the mid jungle synergy?
I really don't think Morgana is going to get too insane of a push. You have an insane amount of pushing power, but Aurelia, after a little bit of AD, can kind of just press Q on the back line on the caster minions and just one-shot them. So Morgana should have better early push, but once we start getting in the mid game, I expect really that matchup in the mid lane is really going to come down to, does Morgana hit the Dark Binding or not? If she's gonna root Aurelia in place and prevent her from getting close, you're gonna be fine. But if Aurelia gets on top of you and starts autoing, you're just going to lose.
Yeah, so we're gonna see like what will prevail. The ultimate team fighting comp from LCE with an absolutely disgusting dive? Or will that like very tanky, but then I have a Kaisa and a Morgana to help the Kaisa stay alive from that dive? Will that be the option to prevail? Well, we'll get to see all of that, but after a short break, and then we'll be back into our game. Stay tuned. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, finally, we are on the rift to see how will the Natural Selection Gaming fare into the Lit Club Esports. So let's see how it's gonna go. So far, though, Kevbo, I'm seeing a couple of interesting choices in the early itemization and Keystone. So we're gonna see Electrocute onto the cannon, and we're also gonna see a call start. So
Yeah,
how do
a
you
little
feel
bit
about that?
interesting on that one for sure. I think they are really trying to scale
Minions have spawned.
towards the late game, but I wouldn't at all be surprised to see that one just turn into a bit of a farm fest. I mean, Ornn wants to do the same thing, right? The only goal on Ornn really is to get to level 14 as quickly as possible so you can start buffing your teammates as well as yourself. Of course, a lot of interesting things. I am a little bit surprised to see the Glacial Augment Nautilus as well. I'm not really sure how that one goes. Of course, they did really nerf a lot of the Resolve tree. Aftershock is not nearly as good as it used to be. But early trading going to be very strong at level 1, it looks like, for Boat Chicken here.
Yep, and it looks like he's gonna hand out a fairly meaty bit of punishment onto Karma Divine. And if that is gonna be the precedent of the lane, this Karma is gonna be in trouble. Speaking of which, once again, if you auto traded and Karma Divine is down to almost 200 HP just before level 2, which is the all-in angle for Boat Chicken. Speaking of the Nautilus and the Glacial Augment, well, when you think of the Nautilus, you don't think of somebody that's like a Giga Tank that is like gonna eat out all the shots and like block everything. Sure, Nautilus can block a lot of stuff, but like I think that the way that they're trying to utilize him here is just to get the picks. And if you're gonna go for that play style, I think that the Glacial Augment Kevo will probably be the best thing we'll have. But so far, just a pretty like dull state of the game. Everybody's farming. Mid has stabilized, so everything else is gonna be pretty lazy. Speaking of which, you're gonna get the hook in the level 2 though. Seraphine, just base Seraphine, like the double rooting Runic Blade here, trading the damage back onto the ADC. Not too much expanded. Still have the TP on the Seraphine in case, but another hook lands here from Barbaric. Not that much is gonna line up afterwards, and it looks like actually the Lulu Seraphine are gonna end up winning in the HP department on the trade.
Yeah, of course, Seraphine also here, though, going to struggle quite a bit in the early levels when it comes to mana. You can see already has used up most of that mana pool. But it will actually be Becky here with a little bit of a faster clear, so going to be the first onto the scuttle.
First onto the Scuttle, but Frosty is first onto mid lane trying to eke out Boat Chicken of any threatening situation for Karma Divine. And so far, that has paid off. Like the mid matchup is looking much better than it looked like on the early few levels. And speaking of matchups, here comes the Root Lance. And that is the interruption that we were talking about. And if Karma Divine keeps playing the matchup like this, he'll probably have a fairly good time into Boat Chicken, who is playing the Aurelia pretty well, pretty confident on the champion, but so far so good for everyone. Maybe outside of the cannon, who's just having a very passive time against that Ornn and can't really, I don't know, bully him enough in that laning state. Speaking of bullying, well, Becky's just like, well, I'll take those Krugs. And
Yeah,
looks like Frosty doesn't have anything to do against that.
yeah, and a good early invade is going to mean that they end up netting themselves a little bit of an early CS lead, of course. Volibear has already reset to the bot side, trying to clear camps again, gonna get the Gromp and the Wolves on the respawn pretty quickly. But Becky going to be getting the earlier back end to be able to come back out onto this map and continue snowballing this little bit of a level and XP lead that they do have here.
You know, the XP lead is accrued here, Kevbo, and look, we're looking for a little bit of trades. Of course, Ku is gonna end up on the winning side if he manages his spacing, but it looks like he will not do that as properly. Well played by Byaku to find the reciprocation of the damage here. And he's been doing pretty well in the top matchup. This is actually the one that I'm most surprised by. I think that both bot and mid are going as far as status quo, but looks like that the top matchup is much easier sailing for Byaku than it should have been.
Yeah, thus far it has been much easier than it probably should have been. But cool, of course, should be able to play this pretty well. Is missing a lot of Qs, so that is really
The Ornhorn, the return is there, and the first blood will be secured by the call of the Force God, and he is gonna reap the benefits of the excellent laning phase he has been playing here.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there from the Kennen. Missing a lot of abilities means that the Ornn can really get the trading down that he wants. Of course, it really is on the Kennen there about making sure that that passive stun does proc, so you can continue autoing and continue outputting damage. Of course, electrocute as well. It's just going to mean that missing that Q is going to be even more important in the trades, as we saw there. Though Ornn also just really good with the base stats, has a lot of damage, so going to be able to get themselves an early kill in what should be a favorable matchup for the Kennen.
Yeah, the favorable matchup isn't panning out pretty well, but so far though, on the other ends, I would say everything is going on so good. So you managed to reply with that solo kill and add on to it. Frosty managed.
Well, unfortunately here, it looks like we get Voltron back, so I'm going to take over for play-by-play here for just a second while we get that sorted. But for now, it looks like it will just be continued trading across the map. Becky still going for these very aggressive invades. Pool walks forward and does end up getting the electrocute and the proc. That slicing maelstrom not really going to do much except for clear the wave there. As we might have Volt back.
Yeah, I think I should. I don't know if it's just like me or Discord here. But looks like the trade is going in. Runic Blade is trying to find Blossom Vein. The root is there, but Runic Blade is going to be taken down first, and the Nautilus does not have enough to take Aminaki down with him, nor do he have enough to take down Blossom Vein. And now we're dead back even on the scoreboard with a little bit of a healthy lead. Speaking of the lead, here comes Becky trying to find something, but the Ornn dash is going to be enough. Slowed down, and there won't be enough follow-up here. So that's already the first ult of Becky, and oh my, look at Pacquiao going back here. But Becky's gonna be able to respond. A little bit of damage responded back, and the Ornn does not fear anything in this top lane.
Yeah, Becky a little bit early on that ability there with the fear. Does have a little bit of a duration before that fear does end up proccing. So pressing it early is going to mean that Ornn will be able to get out. Of course, in the same way, just immediately spell shields the Call of Forge God. So isn't going to mean too much. Quietly going back and farming up a storm. Becky still has the entirety of their bot side up. And is still even in CS, if not a little bit ahead here, actually.
Yeah, like looking at the situation, I'm actually slightly surprised by the way that most of these matchups are going, Kevbo. So maybe you can even enlighten us a little bit. So we're seeing a very small CS lead in the bot lane that is signified by the extra CS that Nautilus have over the where like you can see both AD carries are even, but Barbaric has like 10 extra CS, so that's 10 extra CS that is shared between the supports. Meanwhile, mid lane and top lane has been almost dead even, and then Becky has been out farming Frosty by a little bit of a big margin, but then again, he has a dragon, so the EXP department is almost centered. So how do you feel about like the lane matchup so far? 10 minutes in with Baikill getting the second played, there we go, in 10 minutes. Who do you think has impressed you the most?
Um, Honestly, I don't feel like I've been super impressed by anyone. I've seen what from my end looks like a few misplays here and there. Of course, just with people, it seems like not really knowing their champs too well. A lot of missed abilities, a lot of bad timed abilities. But thus far, Becky is doing a really good job into a matchup that should be favorable for them simply because Frosty is Chaos is a support player here. We do have to remember that. So going to be subbing in and has had really good neutral objective control in the game thus far as well, as it looks like they are going to be starting that Rift Herald here as well.
Yeah, and that is the second objective, and the plates are not down yet, so maybe we'll see this to facilitate Karma Divine, like getting out of mid. Maybe it will even push onto the Ornn further, getting the bigger Gordo lead and giving him like as much AXP as you can. As you can see, he's already level 9. Taku's level 8, so you have the option to accelerate the Ornn. So I'll be very intrigued now with the claim. It is indeed gonna be used on the top side, but the answer will be a bot side push here from the side of NCE, but the hook is gonna land. Runic Blade is trying to find something. The Encore is gonna be comboed onto him, but Vein Blossom and Emeraki are gonna get out almost unscathed. You know, just a little bit of damage done, but then again, no harm, no foul for the double enchanter in the bot lane.
Yeah, I think that was maybe just a little bit of a misplay on the Herald there. They probably could have just sent Kaisa and Nautilus up there and secured plates anyways. It is going to allow them some pressure to get onto this drag first. But at the same time, it probably would have been a little bit more favorable, I think, to use it in either mid or bot because of the pressure you can exert on the towers there. The top tower was probably going to go down in the next few minutes regardless. Simply with just numbers, like I said, they should have been able to go up there and get that done. But at the very least, that advantage they have in the top lane will let them secure this second drag here, as we are going to be getting a Wind Soul this game.
Oh
It should
no,
be
the Cloud
very
Soul.
favorable for well, really, all of these members I think are going to find a lot of value out of the Wind Soul here.
Yeah, that's why I'm not actually like saying oh no as in it's bad. I think this is one of the very few times where you think okay, maybe Cloud is actually good here. So you have Call of the Force God, and then you're gonna be sped up after it. You have Morgana that is gonna be able to connect most of the Dark Shackles just off the sheer value of the Cloud Soul movement speed. Same thing for like rotations, macro play, and speaking of these kind of plays, I think that this is maybe why they elected to open the top side. And oh my, look at the Call of the Force God. Vakya is just looking to find anything, and a slicing maelstrom will not be enough. The pillar will have to be flashed out by Q. That's the trade of flash for flash, and Kennen is being absolutely pushed away. But it looks like the cavalry is here. We're seeing Bode, we're seeing Becky. They're trying to chase him down, close to his tower and pretty tanky. So I don't think that there will be enough of a response, and the TP is there from Karma Divine apparently, and like yeah, it is. Ku is in a very scary situation. Becky is taking a lot of damage, but look at the Ornn, absolutely tanky. Almost no way to get through him. Dark Shackles is coming in from the Morgana, is gonna be ended up being untethered. Moving away, the back and forth is there, but the Ornn is too tanky to take down, and that is gonna be a teleport that will be the win of the side of LCE. But outside of that, all of their effort pretty much went for naught on like trying to get the Ornn out of the lane.
And a little bit late there on the Q is going to mean that Boat Chicken does end up getting the back through. It looks like there was a rotation from the bot side as well, though. So Runic Blade and Barbaric Champion going to get a lot of pressure down onto this tower. As it will be Surfing here, actually just forcing them off.
And speaking of forcing off, look at the Ornn. Look at the Ornn combo. He's just like taking the map over.
I really don't think that Orange should be trying to force there. I think Becky should be able to turn that pretty well, especially because of the spell shield. You can really prevent a lot of damage from the fragile proc with the spell shield. So it should be honestly, I think just trading back into the Ornn there and should be able to do it pretty effectively. Of course, though, is going to back and get this Blade of the Ruin King. Going to have a lot more healing in these team fights, and Becky really needs to find some value with these ultimates here soon, or it is going to be really, really hard to get much work done. Of course, like I said, still doing very good in the CS department, but at the same time, this Nocturne pick, you really want to push 6 and then just alt on cooldown, and there really hasn't been a lot of value found with these really important Nocturne ultimates.
Yeah, indeed. And the first ultimate wasn't really out of that much value. The second one was just mainly to break up the fight. So the third one needs to be the charm here. Especially since, like, on the side of LCE, you're falling behind on dragons. You're falling behind on a lot of the side objectives. You didn't get the Herald, and I don't think that they will get the second Herald either. So that would be a very rough situation for them here, but still. I still believe that their comp is strong enough, as we're going to see in the Nautilus just taking it away. You know, just getting himself to the safety with that dredge line, and no harm, no foul. And once again, that seems to be the story of what the side of natural selection is going for. Like, oh yeah, I'll try to get a pick. I'll try to get a small fighter too. We already have the Ornn that is super ahead, so we're going to give him as much agency as we can, allow him to get his Ornn upgrades, and it seems to be going pretty well. And speaking of not going well, here comes Becky. Here comes the Encore. Will she actually be able to escape? No, Runic Blade burned both summoners and died. Exhausted.
As Ornn going to come in here and get the teamfight ult, the Slicing Maelstrom should not get too much value, and a little bit of an overforce by Lit Club will mean that the fight is going to trade evenly. Ornn still goes in here, and Baku might be able to walk this one out. They are still forcing. A lot of damage comes through, but Karma Divine is finally here. That Unshackled Chain's going to do a lot of damage, and it still ends up being a pretty even trade, but with the extra health bars, it looks like it will be NSG, the first ones onto this dragon here.
Ah, cry me a river. I don't know. I'm sorry, everyone. My connection has been a little bit botchy today. But yeah, that team fight was pretty much the epitome of what is gonna happen every time this goes on. You have two Blade of the Ruin Kings. You have a Leandries on the Seraphine, so that's already a ton of percent max HP damage. And well, they're apparently gonna walk in. The Dark Binding will not land onto Becky. Spell Shield was there, just in case, but is not needed. And so far, they are posturing for the third Drake that will put him on the Soul Point. And it looks like the call is not to contest just yet. We're seeing them pushing the mid lane, pushing the bot lane, maybe trying to find anything. Maybe Becky will try to go for a steal, but so far, he has been pressured away. And that is gonna be the third Drake straight out in 18 minutes for the side of Natural Selection Gaming.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to do here what they probably should have just done from the start, which is just trade this dragon for the Rift Herald. They really didn't have a lot of pressure, but because they decided to rotate so late, it is going to mean that they are not going to end up getting this one. Instead, NSG here with a 5-man stack, they will end up being the ones picking this up as well. So total neutral objective control thus far from the side of Natural Selection Gaming.
Oh, the call of the Force God. It is there, but it will not be enough. The spell sheet is there, so that's pretty much scaring them off, as all Rams do to all passing civilians. And it looks like Boat Chicken has pulled out a TP out of Karma Divine here, just to protect the tier 2. Once again, like that, after the upgrade, or the buff to the gold it gives, rather. That's almost 600 gold. That's worth 2 kills. So that is a pretty big amount of gold that you don't want to give away. And it looks like that the side of NSG agrees.
Yeah, and this is something that I'm also a little bit afraid of here for the side of NSG. They don't really have anyone that's going to be super great at answering the Aurelia on these side lanes. Of course, the Morgana can wave clear pretty effectively, but at the same time, if you don't land that Dark Binding and Aurelia gets on top of you, she will just win the 1v1 early. Of course, going to pick up the blue buff here is going to mean a lot, so you can spam that pull out a lot more frequently. But going into a little bit of a lull state, I think that NSG are going to force mid lane tower here, of course. Just is the right play here with the Rift Herald to try and open up the map a little bit.
Okay, and here we go. Well, let's see how much we can get out of this. It looks like the side of Lit Club is just electing to play super safe, waiting for all their ultimates, just waiting for something. Meanwhile, you can see Natural Selection is urging for a fight. Their bloodlust is looming, and the Stormbringer is there. If there was anyone that was in the vicinity, he would have been caught. And there comes the Stormbringer just to secure the tower. Once again, you have a pretty big amount of leniency before the next objective. It's like 2 minutes 30 until the Cloud Soul. And while the Baron is up, I think that they have the ability to match them in time, even without these ultimates here from the side of Natural Selection.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, it is looking rather tense here. Still having Aurelia just perma push in the spot side. Nocturne continuing to farm. And for the side of Lit Club, they are up in gold, but it still does not look great for them. They are down to that soul point. Of course, you know, Wind Soul going to offer a decent amount if you get it, but at the same time, that does open up the potential for uh, a Elder Dragon win con for either of these teams. Yes, I really do think that we are probably just going to go into a little bit of a lull state here, farm it up, wait for this next drag, and that will be where we see which team is going to come ahead.
Yeah, that much we will wait for in the Kevo, but until the next dragon, I'll be very interested to see item completions, because so far, a lot of people have been diversifying their builds, as you can see, like, the Ornn here. He has the Bramble Vest, and he has the half completion for the Spirit Visage. Speaking of completions, I don't know, Becky's just like, well, I'm completing my alt on CD. Mind you, that is before the dragon. So that is gonna be one hugely important ultimate. It is used early. It got the flash, but now you don't have it to fight the soul, Kefbo. So
Yeah,
that is gonna be very important on that side of the map.
yeah, it is a very short cooldown, but I don't think it will be up for this dragon, as it is almost halfway cooldown, as a huge encore going to come through onto 3 members here.
Well, the Storm Chaser is gonna come in. The Call of the Forge God is gonna get Becky, but this route from the Seraphine will come in as well. And now, suddenly the Aurelia is stuck between 4 members, all 5 even, from the side of NSG, and that is one dead Blade Dancer and one Dragon that they are gonna claim. As you can see, who's in the top side, so maybe they've decided, okay, we have a member down, we should concede it. It's the Cloud Soul. It's okay, not the end of the world, even though I would say it's pretty disaster late for the side of LG, for the side of Lit Club E here.
Yeah, as Amaki going to also be... Oh, and that is just a dead
Well,
Lulu as the Killer Instinct comes in from the Kaisa there. And with that kill, they are all here, forcing them out. Of course, we can still look for this Killer cannon flank angle, but right now it is looking a little bit dire for the side of Lit Club here. They're still up in gold somehow, even with this neutral objective disadvantage that they have. But it looks like this Baron going over for free to the side of NSG.
Yep, the contest is not there. I think they've elected to, okay, let's just give Aurelia the space she needs to be as much of a nuisance as we can, especially after the Lulu got picked off here. I mean, Anki just... That pick, I think, was the enabler, because suddenly you don't have the second line of defense after the Seraphine to keep your members alive, to keep them spaced away from the tanks, from the engage of NSG. And now suddenly you have 3 very big tanks with their item. And the first ornament will be the Wernfallen Sacrifice here to upgrade for the Kraken Slayer for the side of the Runic Blade. Speaking of upgrades, speaking of finds, here comes the Volibear. The stun will time out. I mean, Anki is gonna just walk out safely, but oh no! Oh no, Blossom Bane Blossom, well, it's not looking that good. The Encore is there, but the Call of the Force God in response, it will not complete, and Runic Blade will be found. Becky is able to find one, and that is gonna be all she wrote here for the Siege of NSG. Well, actually, no, they're going for round 2, and round 2, that will be Becky to be claimed, caught by the Dredge line. Here we go, the ultimate from the Morgana Cloud Soul. You can see the movement speed, the Dark Binding is there, and it looks like they're just electing to space them out, get the inhib, use their Baron enhanced minions, and that is gonna be the inhibitor. But look at the bot lane though. Irelia is looking to take over that tier 2 turret, and we're seeing here Blossom Bane just trying to stall them as much as he can with the recall. They're trying to stop them. 2 side turrets are taken down
Turret has been destroyed.
on the side of... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that they are playing this 1-3-1 very well, even though you lost an inhibitor. You're able to trade those towers. Obviously not as good as
Killer Instinct here, the slicing Maelstrom. Will it be enough? It will not. And Runic Blade will take another one. You're saying they're playing the 1-3-1 pretty well. Well, not so well now when one of the members of the 1-3-1 falls off to the recalling enemies. Caster Curse XD.
At the same time, though, you know, Kennen dies. They still, I don't think, have enough time to really push in and end the game. So it doesn't end up meaning, I think, too much. But with this Baron wave now pushing for them, that is going to be pretty massive, because it will mean that you really have to put a few members there to clear. Of course, Seraphine does still have decent wave clear, but I still shouldn't be able to push this one out too quickly, as it looks like still a small little gold lead for the side of Lit Club here. I don't know how they are continuing to hold on to this one, even though they keep getting picked off and keep giving over these neutral objectives. That is an interesting TP from the Ornn here. As it will be Irelia that just keeps going forward. And that TP is going to mean that everyone gets to share in that one. Frosty as Chaos will pick up Boat Chicken there right before this dragon. The Nocturne ultimate going to come through, but another flash away from Kai'Sa. Just seems like every time that Becky Rita is on top of this Kai'Sa, the flash just comes through. And
the flash is going to come through, and the pickup is complete, and it looks like now the next step will be Becky. The Encore is there, but will it be enough to save him? It will not. Runic Blade is going to claim one more, and it looks like they're trying to find even more. Deadline is there. No, it will not connect. Look at the Volibear, just trying to find anything. And well, the 1-3-1 looks like we've jinxed it a little bit, KBoo. Just a little bit.
Yeah, they are really just overforcing here, I think, are the side of Lit Club. They have a comp that really can do a lot into these team fights, but like we said, they're not getting the Kai'Sa, they're not getting the Morgana, and that just means that the damage is continuing to go the way of NSG here, going to force down this tier 1 in bot lane at long last. Of course, still have an opportunity possibly for the side of Lit Club to try to push in and maybe get an inhibitor on that top side of the map. But it really is looking dire for them here. If they don't get this big team fight, so with the Encore, with the Slicing Maelstrom, they're going to have a really
the Dredge Line is going to connect onto Becky, the Spell Shield. It will not be enough. The layering of the CC is immaculate. And here comes another pick with 15 seconds on the Elder. I think that this is a very dangerous proposition. Meanwhile, Boat Chicken, though, he's just wailing at these turrets. They've sent the Ornn for him. Call of the Force God is active. He will at least be able to clear the minion wave. Let's see. Boat Chicken apparently tries to get the one up on him. So far, he has been successful. The Ornn looks to be actually taking a little bit of damage. Brought down pretty low. We need to see the Irelia do more, though, to take him out of there. But on the contrary here, the Elder Dragon will be taken up on the opposite. The Elder Soul The burn can be there. Look at Bochicken just trying to get out, and here comes the Dragon's Breath to claim the life of Bochicken.
Yeah, this Elder is going to mean that they should be able to push in an end here. I'm not too sure, but this should be enable for them to be able to just force and get kills. Of course, we are going to have to wait and see if the well,
Okay, here we go. The paranoia is coming in. Becky will not survive though. Cannon is next to the slicing maelstrom, trying to take anyone down, but Barbaric will survive. The Seraphine will connect with the cannon to get two here. Both Frosty and Runic are gonna die. And well, if you're gonna flash Polymorph with a spell sheeted Morgana, he will just walk away.
Blue team's inhibitors respawning soon.
yeah, a little bit of an overforce there, unfortunately. But we are finally seeing this damage come through for the Seraphine here. Absolutely burst them out with that Void Staff completed, going to be able to hopefully put some more work in. Warren's still here with the Bramble Vest. Really not getting a lot of value out of that one at this point.
Yeah, I think, he was just getting the item completionist achievement where he had like 4 different components for 4 different items. Now he has completed the Fimbulwinter. He has the Abyssal Mask as well, and they're trying to start a Drake, but the Call of the Forge God can be very lethal. It will get the Lulu. They can't find anything, and Ku will be stuck, knocked up once again. The 3rd time is the charm to take him down. Double Color trying to get through the Orn, but not enough, not fast enough right there. Bochicken is trying to find anything. He will claim his soul, but his life will be forfeit, as that will be the 3 for the 1 for the favor of NSG, and that will also mean the Baron and possibly the endgame push.
Yeah, that inhibitor in the mid lane has come back up, so they are not going to be able to push quite as quick. But of course, with both of these major buffs, they should be able to push in an end, you would hope. As
Yeah.
Becky's still farming it up here, looking for an opportunity maybe to still get a pick on a side lane if possible. But it seems that finally NSG have cemented their lead in the gold department, at the very least. Finally going ahead on that one. And like I said, we should really just be seeing some resets come through and this mid push to end in just a second here.
And speaking of like the things that are very impressive right now, 6-1 and 6 is the Orn here of Bayakua. That is like, is it Bayuka? Bayuka. Yeah, Bayuka. So 6-1 and 6 Orn on Bayuka. How is it faring so far? Especially like it went against a ranged top laner, so you would have thought, oh, like he would have had a much worse time, but so far he has been absolutely dominant in lane. And after that, like just the fact that you have the Call of the Force God, it is one of, if not the best global ultimate in team fights. It's free knockup, everybody gets like chunk for extra CC or extra percent of HP. Here it comes. Here the second bounce is there. The Stormbringer is there. The Slicing Maelstrom will try to find anything, but look at the damage. It's not there. You can't even kill Runic Blade. It looks like the lead is too big against LCE, and now they can't find anything, and it looks like it's gonna wrap up from here.
Yeah, I mean, with these super minion waves, they should be able to just push in an end. That cannon minion did end up going down, a flash out from Runic Blade. But like you said, it should just be the force for the end here. Oh.
Yeah, are we gonna see a final one? Looks like we will. I mean, Anki is gonna fall down 19-8. Pretty close in the 3rd department and in the gold department, but in the end, it will be natural selection to take out game 1.
Yeah, off the back of a very strong performance from both Bayuka and the Runic Blade there in the bot lane. Really unimpressed, I think, with the cannon, especially into the Orn, like you said. We'll see what they can do in the next game. Maybe draft a different style of comp for Lit Club here. But that, like we said, we will have to see at the end of another break. We will get back into draft here shortly.
And stay tuned.
tips to make your work from home space comfortable, productive, and personalized. Work
No, bro, we're having. Okay, guys. Hi. Sorry it's been so long. We're having a little bit of techie troubles here. Some techers, bongers going on right now. We're getting everything ironed out. Teams are doing draft right now. I do have the draft link, so I do see what be happening and the know-how and whatnot. But we're gonna get it all sorted out, and we'll be right back in a few moments. So, worry not. I'm gonna jump straight into draft. Cavbo, can you hear me, sir?
I can. I do not, however, have a draft link, so I have no clue what's going on.
Baby, I got you. Don't worry. Papa's here to do it.
Okay.
Check the chat. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll talk about it a little bit until Kevbo gets to get in.
All right.
So we're gonna see the Lulu
Once
on
again.
B1 from LCE once again on the blue side. Electing to maintain blue side. I don't know if that's the best of choices, but like we're gonna see a Mumu Nautilus. The bans will be Hecarim, Udyr, and MF, just targeting a little bit of Becky's like comfort and then getting the MF out of the way. Then from LCE we're seeing Seraphine Ornn, and that is the changed ban that opened the Mumu up, and Anivia, and it looks like it's gonna be a Maokai Kevin.
Yeah, I think that is going to be the Becky Rita Maokai jungle going to come through here. Going to be a little bit of an interesting one. Of course, I'm interested to see what they do end up pairing with this. Of course, it looks like NSG getting exactly what they got in the last game, minus the Ornn. So it kind of just looks like we're going for a little bit of a salty run back thus far, but LCE going to be instead opting towards the Azir in the mid lane here. Very high skill expression champion, so we'll have to wait and see how their mid laner does end up piloting this one, but thus far it just is back to the tank and CC game for NSG on the red side here.
Yeah, so we're gonna see the Azir, which I think is at least a little bit of a safer option. Once again, provides that like team-wide DPS that is looked like to mirror what they were doing in game 1, but instead of Rella, they'll have the Azir. And then we'll have a normal AD carry. And speaking of AD carries, here goes the Kog'Maw once again. I know that the comfort picks are taken away, Kevbo. So we'll see the response. But so far, it's looking really similar for both teams. Just take out the Nocturne, put in the Maokai, take out the Ornn, put in the Mumu. How do you feel about it so far in phase 1?
I don't really hate it from either side. I really have no clue what Jungle Maokai does. I have not seen anyone play Maokai, even after the rework. But going to opt in to ban the Volley Bear again anyways, I think is a little bit interesting here. I think I'd rather see them ban out Caitlyn here. Because Morgana can still flex into that support role, and Caitlyn and Mumu is absolutely disgusting. Or Caitlyn Morgana is absolutely disgusting. With that Dark Binding into Trap combo. So probably should still see that one get banned out, but instead, on the side of NSG here, we will just see that pairing with the Lulu. They have the exact same 5 bans as they did in the last game, do NSG, so obviously liked what they had in that last game, as that Caitlyn ban is going to end up coming through.
Yep, they like what they have, and they're like what they've taken away as well. So that much is very intriguing. So let's see how draft is gonna proceed. We're gonna see the Vayne this time around, just in case there are any tanks. Once again, Vayne with a Morgana shield, with a Nautilus and a Mumu to front line, and PL4, the Vayne here is gonna be very dangerous. And like, I don't know, I'm intrigued. Runic Blade has played a very good game 1 on the Kaisa. He was able to get some picks. The trades weren't as good as it once was. And oh my, we're actually gonna have an 80 carry versus an 80 carry. We're gonna see the Jinx that will be pulled out here for LCE. And the final pick, will it be the Maokai jungle or will it be the Maokai top? That's what we're gonna see. Becky, what do you have in the back?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see them opt for the Maokai top and take a aggressive an aggressive jungler here. Wouldn't at all be surprised. Yep, as the Trundle is going to end up coming through. That's still a flex though, I think, because you can Trundle top as well. I'm not sure how much I like that pick into the Vayne though, as it would appear that we have lost Vault momentarily.
No, I'm good. Just
Should be
Discord.
good, right?
Yeah.
Just Discord being Discord.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Very, very good. Very fun. As it will actually, it looks like be a. Okay, so we are going to get the Morgana mid run back into the Azir. Malphite gonna be the answer top lane. Really, I don't think is a great answer into Trundle or Maokai, depending on what they do end up deciding to go for with that pairing. But, overall, how do we feel about the drafts?
Okay, so I'll say mine first, then you can go back to yours. So I think that the Malphite, Amumu, Morgana, and Nautilus just smells, once again, a Death Ball teamfight comp. Like, very reliant on ultimates. The ultimates pair up very beautifully. You're gonna have the Unstoppable Force into the Curse of the Sad Mummy and then the Dark Shackles, just in case somebody survives. And, if you didn't already die from the amalgamation of the AoE damage, you're gonna have a Vayne wailing servables at you. On the other side, we're seeing almost like a very similar thing, but then we have a few nooks and crannies. So instead of the Nocturne diving in, we're gonna see the Trundle that wants to drain the tanks, that want the tanks to be squishier. The Jinx that is gonna try to mash that front to back, and maybe that front to back with the reworked Maokai can be the difference maker.
Yeah, I really have absolutely no clue what Maokai does in these team comps. We really haven't seen Maokai in such a long time.
Well, I can actually answer a lot of that for you, my brother, because of the rework, the mini position rework they actually did. I mean, he's just a really good ganker, essentially. He's just going to be constantly ganking. He's going to be really tanky. He's going to be obnoxious in that regard, just because the changes they did make to him allow him to operate in the jungle more. Like, you're rarely going to see him in the top lane compared now, just because of the way they changed
the saplings, right?
The saplings, right. They don't do the big max % health damage anymore, and they don't really minions in lane don't take bonus brush damage, right? Yes, you still get the empowered saplings that come from the brush, but they behave differently now. So champions are going to get affected by them more, but not necessarily minions and monsters. But they also, the big thing is the Maokai ultimate, the Nature's Grasp. So they changed the missile speed on that. It used to be really slow at the start, and now it actually moves very fast from start to finish. It ramps up still, but also it gives a haste to Maokai. So he gets movement speed whenever any of the ultimate, the Nature's Grasp tendrils hit a champion. So like I said, super big gank machine, always going to be present in lanes, and like he's going to get really beefy as well. So Maokai here is definitely a good answer for that Amumu pick. It's just going to be which tanky jungler can gank more often first.
Absolutely, bro. There with the knowledge, dumping that knowledge all over us. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Now even Kevbo knows somewhat of what the patch did.
I
As
read it all, baby.
as we do get ready for this draft, with that context given, I still feel like I maybe favor NSG here. I do think that the Runic Blade had a really good last game. If they are able to scale in the way they did in the previous game on this vein, even having Trundle and Maokai being tanky, I don't think is going to be much of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, it should be really good. I mean, hopefully this time Boat Chicken doesn't have to try to 1v9, and try and play Savior. He's on the Azir, which did receive a few changes on the patch as well, but still super duper strong comparatively. But you're right, we're gonna get into the game momentarily. We have to let this countdown wind down so we can get in, sync everything up. So, Proof, my dog, I know you listening in. We need to throw it to the break real quick, and when we get back for our dear viewers, we will have this game number 2 underway. Okay, we got this, guys. See y'all in a second.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
unpause.
Okay. We all are. No, I'm in. We're all in.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Woo! All
And-
right, I'm calling it first. Sorry, Vault, love you to death, but baby, we're doing the TriCast to end the night off. Well, potentially, could it be the natural selection 2-0, or is Lit Club gonna make this spicy and get us a classic VAS 3-game angle? I'm Beautiful Crow, I've got Proof with me, and I also have Kevo, and we're gonna do our best to keep this mischief as managed as possible.
Well, the only thing we're not managing right now is remembering who's casting and who's producing. On the caster desk here, Becky Rita already got an early ward. A lot of level 1 classic shenanigans going to come through, but Bolt, how do we feel about the summoner spells, rune choices, that kind of stuff thus far?
I mean, everything is super basic outside of Phase Rush, for one. That is very intriguing. That may mean that the Maokai wants to stick onto the person and try to get a second Q or a second root. And then the Conqueror Amumu. A lot of people are used to seeing the Amumu picking stuff like the Aftershock or the Glacial, but I actually think that Conqueror can be good. But look at Becky.
Oh my goodness, just like that, walks up,
Oh no.
steals
He
the
got-
red. That's ridiculous, Kevo. Talk us
Uh,
through it.
I don't know what to say. That was fun. The instant level 1 on the Raptors into the red buff steal. This Amumu is going to be so far behind as a root's going to come through. That will be
Man.
a bit of a nice little trade coming through here. But Volta, how do you think this pathing is going to end up going?
I mean, that's absolute insanity. You're like, well, you know, these Raptors, I'll sneak them through. Oh, you're taking the red. Oh, thank you very much. And, well, 8 CS to 0. Amumu had to move to the Gromp, already exhausted one of the potions and a smite. Actually, I don't know. It's just insanely stunting that Amumu. And he's warded on the blue as well, just for good measure. Just for good measure, Hikabu. And so far, everything has been going well in each and every lane for the side of the club here so far.
Frosty, going to smite that away from their own jungler. Not really sure about or from their own mid laner. Not really sure about that one. I'm not really sure why Karma Divine was trying to take it to begin with. But maybe a little bit of dissenting amongst the team members here. We will have to wait and see how that does pan out. But Becky Rita going to go for the full clear on top of the early invade will mean that they are super accelerated in this game.
Yep,
As,
super accelerated.
Pro-
And so far, 24 to 16, Frosty is just not having a good day at all. And it will all lie down on Runic Blade and Barbaric here. So, Crow, looking at the way that the lanes are set up, I just have to ask you, like, this is my little minigame usually. Who do you think will have the first blood?
Well, I mean, if there's any indication about how the jungle pathing is coming in from Becky Rita, pathing a lot, spending a lot of time towards this red bot side, you would have to assume it's going to go the way of Lit Club with how they're playing, right? Yes, that Natural Selection does have that all amazing all in of the, Nautilus Vayne, 1, 2, 3, they're gonna die, but it's just the potential that Victoris has for that counter gank, sitting at a pretty enough amount of health, sitting at a good amount of mana, as well as up in CS, can counter this. Top lane, I highly doubt there's gonna be like double tank first blood into, the Trundle, Church Priest 6, but at the same time, he has so many more escape games, I would say. As the dredge line comes out here, flash forced away from Amanaki, and look at that. The exhaust comes out, and just like I said, Victoris right on time. Will Twisted advance through flash heal to get away. Flash forward coming in from Blossom, gets taken back. This is extended fight, extended trade, dredge line to escape, and one more auto should do it, but no. Runic Blade and somehow Barbaric Champion both managed to survive. I called my shot, and unfortunately, it was not a bucket.
Oh, that was pretty close, It was almost like everything is going as prophesized, Crow. But well, just, Dredgeline, Nautilus is a very fun champion. This ability is coded perfectly. And speaking of perfect abilities, here comes the Dark Binding already. Karma Divine struggling a little bit in the mana department here, but you have to consider that he has not used his TP yet. However, Boat Chicken has, and so far is going pretty well. It's like almost a 400 gold lead without a single minion, and the shuffle is coming in.
No
Boat
mana.
Chicken is trying to find anything. The Silver Shoulder
Has
is
flash.
there. No mana. Black Shield is not there.
no
The button under the turret. Will it be enough? And the flash from Chicken will at least mean that he will live, and that is one happy chick.
I can't believe what just happened. Kevbo, we're at 6 minutes in. Multiple very close first bloods, but nobody has died yet. What in the world?
Yeah, on that note also, Frosty and Cool are the only ones with flash up at 6 minutes, so everyone is getting their flash force on all sides of the map. I do want to point out though, while that gank by Victoris in the bot side did not end up getting any kills, it did mean that they were able to push and start stacking this Drakes, and I think that is a great change of pace from them, especially after, I think, not getting a single neutral objective in the last game.
Yeah,
That would be correct.
And take land. Okay. Did they pop the ult for that?
No, I don't think no. Subjugate is still there. Unstoppable Force is there as well.
Ain't
Looks like the
fighting.
wet noodle fight is not really noodly anymore. As you gotta remember, that is a mountain and that is a big troll with a big heavy stick. So that's not gonna be anything noodly so far. And well, both he's just trying to find anything, but so far it's just gonna be the usual. Unless we're gonna see something here. Becky is in the top side. Could be getting a little bit too ahead of himself, but no, the dredge line on the opposite end. The cleanse is great from Blossom. The ultimate is not there from the Nautilus, and this could be the turn. But no, he will just be pushed away, and no harm, no foul. The small trades here.
I love how perfectly timed Amanaki was to get in there, just get the Lulu shield on, to not only get the Lulu shield, but the Guardian proc as well, to make sure Blossom Vayne had enough health to survive, as Byaku has to flash out and ult out to stay alive. The subject is back in there. Cool! Pops back in with the flash auto, stuck under the tower, is stunned up. Frosty's Chaos flashes for another. There goes another bandage toss, and first blood actually goes to Frosty's Chaos after being put so far behind in the early game, managing to be at the right place at the right time and secure first blood for his team.
Yeah, I don't know how. I was also kind of caught back up in the CS department here. Jank's going to land the traps here, get a little bit of poke down, but that will not end up meaning too much, as Becky still hovering on this top side, maybe looking like a possible gank angle, but instead will continue going forward, as they were so close to getting Malphite there. I think maybe just a little bit overforced and not knowing that the Amumu was there resulted in a little too much. But thus far, we are seeing pretty normal laning phase for both sides. Crow, how do you feel about this this early game is turning out?
It's very on a knife's edge. It's very messy in that regard. You saw how absolutely close first blood in bot lane was, how close first blood in mid lane was, how close first blood in top lane going the way of Lit Club was about to be, but it's just, once again, this composition from Natural Selection, they have a bunch of tanks, and of course they're going to scale once they hit that little first little mini, I don't want to say item breakpoint because they don't have their components yet. We're not pro level. They're not doing, you know, like 100 CS per 10 minutes or whatever. But it's just super close for them all, right? So it's very knife's edge in that regard. I do think that Lit Club didn't capitalize on some moments where they should have, but it's very early, right? You look at the gold, it's 13.5, or no, they're both 13.6, so basically even gold as we're just looking for ward supremacy. But yeah, it's a little shaky on both sides.
Yeah, a little shaky indeed, and both sides are still having like that thirst to try to find anything. We're seeing Q here trying to find very heavily on the top side, and same thing in the bot side, like clearing wards. Nautilus trying to find any angle as he can. Barbaric once again just clearing everything he can. Mid lane is like the solace, it's like the bit of peace, you know. It's just like this one time where he tried to do the Shurima shuffle, but it didn't pan out, and then, you know, just the lull state of farming peacefully. Oh, the ultimate is coming in, a super mega death rocket, but will it amount to much? Well, it whiffs and there goes that.
The forehead moment. I'm not sure what that was called for.
Okay, wait.
Runic Blade gets a lot of damage taken on. Amianki pushing forward. Polymorph is there. There's that speedy speedy Maokai ultimate we're talking about onto the Nautilus rather. Barbaric does have flash, but will he be able to get away again with the dredge line? And he does. Spider-Man does what Spider-Man can. This man actually lives twice doing the same thing, but with how much damage both the bot laners have taken, you have to think this has to be a dragon secured on the side of Lit Club as they are posturing for it.
Yeah, and it looks like it's a bit of what's happening here, and I'll actually look at the fight that is ensuing. The Shackles is on Becky, he has to take away. The wall is absolutely perfect from the Emperor, stopping any chance of the fight, but it looks like the Drake will be conceded for saving the life of Becky.
Kevbo, how do they even get away with it? There's no reason that Lit Club should not have gotten that dragon, but I mean, I guess Natural Selection just want to force it, and they're like, you know what? If we fight, we fight. I guess Lit Club just didn't want to take that fight. How do you feel on that one?
Yeah, I feel like it was just really bad zone control there. They kind of left Boat Chicken and Becky Rita to try and 1v2 the dragon. And like Vault said, NSG kind of just forced. And the zone control wasn't there. Azir able to get out themselves, but the engage from the Amumu is going to mean that they use that nice wall from the Azir, of course, going to keep Becky alive, but also prevents them from really having a chance of taking the Drake after that, because you lose a lot of the zone control that you did have simply from existing as Azir.
Absolutely agree on that one. Just trading 2 Amumu Qs for an Azir ultimate. I mean, I would take those anytime. As Amianki will just get some poked down. Barbaric champion. He's been pretty chill this game. Not the same like kind of dredge lines we were going last game. As we were talking about wanting to see these teams tighten up and, you know, get it together, and that early game is getting messy. That was 2 messy fights, right? The messy fight in bot lane resulting in no kills, and then the messy little skirmish around Dragon also resulting in no kills. So like maybe nerves getting to both teams here as we do see them play a little bit of scuttle controls. Karma Divine with these bindings. Man does not miss, I swear.
Man does not miss, and so far, I'll actually have to concur with you, Crow. The fight has been very scrappy. Feels like the fight's off recess, if anything. And well, if we're gonna have a lot of these fights, it's gonna be very interesting to see like who's gonna be able to come with the micro. Okay, so Kev, how do you think it's faring so far with the itemization? Do you have any comments? We're seeing the Hull Breaker on the Trundle.
Yeah, I actually really wanted to comment on that because Lit Club was really good at setting advantages for themselves and even accrued a little bit of a gold lead in the last game simply from their ability to split push as the Unstoppable Force going to come through and the flash. Just barely missed that one.
Oh, Boat Chicken not having the best game 2 with his ultimates as he does get the flash out from Byakuya, so that's a plus. But oh my goodness, once again not being able to use his Shurima Shuffle in the way he wants it to, as they're going to challenge for Herald here. So it is currently a 2v3 situation, as we do see that Byakuwu did decide to base here.
Oh, wait, the
As
Dredge
Unleashed
is landing
teleport-
on the bot lane. The cleanse is there, but the second layer of CC is as
It's the
well.
final two fronts.
Anki is gonna try to ult himself to safety, and that much they shall. And well, they shan't take the fight on the Herald. It looks like they're trying to find Becky. The Super Mega Death Rocket is there. Will it land? It will, but not for that
It just
much
tickles.
damage. Yeah, like if you're full health. And
Oh.
both, the binding is there, the shackles is there, the curse is there, the bandages are there. Where to go from here? Looks like straight to the fountain.
Volt, this is twice now. This is two scenarios where a situation has happened in bot that has resulted in Lit Club losing out on an objective fight immediately after. This time, however, it just happened to be completely across the map. That is absolutely insane that NSG is able to get away with both of these plays happening, and it really does feel like at this moment in time in the game, Lit Club are just letting themselves roll over and like rolling over, not putting up a front or a fight to a lot of these situations. And Kemba, if you have any insight on that, like what is Lit Club gonna have to do in the next few moments to get them back into this game, because they're not super down in gold, surprisingly, but tempo-wise, you'd have to say NSG is in the lead.
As looking a lot like the last game, really when it does come to the tempo. However, we were commenting on the Trundle. I didn't quite get to finish my point there, which is, you know, we are seeing this wall breaker, and on top of that, you have.
Okay, wait, it's not gonna happen.
Hold that thought, Kemba. Hold that thought, because the boys are caught.
Both gonna be gone. There comes the Maokai. Will they actually finish him off this time? They will. And Blossom Bane finally. Third time is the charm. Is it the third or is it the fourth? I mean, do we count the dragon fight?
I think that was the third. I guess maybe third.
This is the third. You don't count a dragon fight. This is the third. Okay, so third time will be the charm. The Bane is gonna get there. And Kembo, I'm sorry, man. It looks like they don't like you at all.
Yeah, they don't want Kemba to finish his points at all.
No analysis, just monkey brain team fighting from both sides here. But Trundle is going to have a lot more pressure into these towers than any of the champions on the other side were. So even if they force a 4v5 on the other side of the map and trade a neutral objective, they've already gained a little bit of an advantage for themselves because they picked up the first drag. But also they get even more advantage from having Trundle split push on these towers, just because he takes them so quickly.
Right, okay, unfortunately, there's an objective being taken. Also, unfortunately, Lit Club have no entryway to get into it. They do have that flank from the side from Becky Rita, maybe going to try and go for something. Dragon is dropping below 4,000. They're walking up, but the team is not there. The rest of the team is not there for Lit Club. Is he going to walk up and smite this again? He attempts it. Smite's a little too early. Ku, though, did TP down, and the fight is on. Blossom Vayne has to get in and get some damage done because those tanks are melting. They're up against a Vayne who will get the kill. There's no, Ku flashes away just barely, but you can't run away from Vayne for too long. She's going to catch you and will get that first kill. Streamer Shuffle once again used defensively, but Byakuwu will get another kill onto the damage. All the damage essentially from Lit Club. That's a quick 2-0 plus the dragon, and they're still fighting. They're saying tower be damned, way be damned, we don't care. So we do have a little bit of a botched tower dive in coming here.
Amianki. Oh no, I've seen this somewhere. 4 members and a simple Lulu.
I've watched enough LPL to know where this is going, but Becky Rita wants to turn that around as Byakuwu will get caught. They are pushing down the tower more with the wave here. Runic Blade getting some damage. So first tower going the way of NSG after that huge fraccar.
Yeah, but the silver lining is, Crow, though, they've managed to salvage one of the kills. They lost a dragon, they lost a tower, and apparently they could lose the second here in the mid side. But I'll let it down to Kevy. Do you think that this, like, the fact that they managed to salvage the kill and they've managed to found the over-aggression with Byaku here, will it be enough? Will they be able to find more of these, like, salvages and keep the gold lead as close as it is right now?
I really think that their team comp for Lit Club is either you get an early reset on the Jinx, you get excited, and she takes over a team fight at 3 items, which we're still a ways away from, or you have this Trundle that can split push and really destroy bases. I know a few years ago we even got to see a Hilla saying Trundle support
Yes.
simply just end the game for existing, as Barbaric just going to Spider-Man
typical.
themselves on out. But I've talked enough about it Crow, how do you feel? How does Lit Club play to their win conditions here?
Ooh, man, well, I mean, I would say, oh, just go late game with the Jinx, but unfortunately, you're up against the late game Vayne, who is arguably better in a lot of scenarios, especially
Wait,
with
though, Ku,
the melee
he's being called, the
focus.
subject yet is being used, and well, that's gonna be an ultimate traded for nothing. Meanwhile, Karma Divine will have the Divine
Is that a 1v1?
Shackles, but still, yeah, there's no Dark
Is that a
Binding, though.
1v1? Oh my god, Boat Chicken. He don't want no smoke. It's just, you can't do this right now. Look how much he's burning
Standing in it,
down.
standing in the pool. One more tick and he could die, actually.
He could. Easily could. He's in such a dangerous spot. And we shouldn't be saying this, right? We're here at the 20-minute mark, and the mid lane Azir is losing to the mid lane Morgana. And that's just not what you want in a scenario. So you look at the actual damage output for Lit Club, right? You see that Boat Chicken is on the Azir, and Vayne, Blossom Vayne is on the Jinx. Wow, that's hilarious to say. A lot of auto attacking, a decent amount of ability usage. It's just, compared that to you can do a decent amount of damage with Byakuwu. As I say that, it goes straight into Blossom Vayne a little too far up. We'll get so many knockouts because the depth charge is out there too, and Runic Blade will claim that kill. That tower won't save you for long as Ami Anki quickly go into the gray screen. Maybe back.
Wait, the nature gods though.
A little bit. Oh, Boat Chicken is here. He dashes in. No ultimate to speak of, but will claim a kill. Back on a Runic Blade, getting that shutdown going back into his pocket. Quick few kills picked up on both sides, and just like that, like I was talking about, the just sheer auto attack focus, and you take out those two targets, Lit Club's power falls apart. Whereas on the side of NSG, Mumu's gonna go in, Malphite's gonna go in, Nautilus is gonna go in. CC City is the name of the game, and you saw how it worked right there. Blossom Vayne has cleanse, barely was even able to use it.
Yeah, he wasn't able to use it at all, and like Crow, if you look at the situation, we were talking about the win conditions, the Trundle, the split pushing, but it's not going so well because you gotta give it the credit where it's due for NSG. Their macro has been very good into matching the Trundle. He always had the Malphite into his face, and when he didn't, Frosty was there with the Mumu, very tanky. He can just sit under the turret and farm whatever he wants. And look at it, it's just like, nah, you're not gonna recall today. Not today, buddy. And 30 seconds on that Drake. And once again, are we gonna see the objective dominance continue from the side of NSG, or will LCE have something to say about it? So far, I would say NSG is having a repeat of game 1, but their option is there. But the comp of NSG is easier than Lit Club. And speaking of easiness, here comes the binding. The Zhonya is there as well. Nautilus just advancing. The Wild Growth will at least provide him with some spacing. The Death Rocket will just land in damage. Oh my god, everything is just thrown. The tosses, the Sand Soldiers, the wall. And now the objective will be started, and they are all basically onwards. 8k HP left on the dragon. It looks like they're melting it down pretty fast. That is the soul point. And the call is to concede. Once again, the third dragon, and maybe a repeat of the Cloud Soul for National Selection Gaming. Kevbu, how do you feel about this like Cloud Soul compared to the last one? Is it as effective, or will it be like less oppressive than it was in game 1?
I think honestly it's more oppressive. Vayne and Amumu and Malphite love move speed.
Right.
So it's gonna come through clutch. To actually jump back to a previous point, I really think that the Trundle should not be like Amumu is not going to 1v1 you under tower. Even if you are under tower, just press W to walk up and hit the tower. If you're in a 1v1 against him or Malphite, you can trade a bit of your health bar with the wave pushed so far forward and just recall and come back and do it again. I don't think that Trundle should be playing this passive, especially after building an early hull breaker, is still playing very safe.
He went Frostfire too.
Yeah, I was really expecting a Divine. Like, you have an Amumu, you have a Malphite, you have a Nautilus. Like, all these people will have HP, will have resistance you want to shred through, and it looks like Boat Chicken is the chicken that will be shredded through. Let's see how it's going to happen. Byaku here with the shard is going to be there. The dash and is there as well. He's being pushed through. He's being polymorphed, but the damage is not enough. But he will just elect safety, and they will take the tower. Yeah, it's just like, don't feel it that day.
Oh my goodness. Okay, they actually do force them off. Good Super Mega Death Rocket to thin out the way. Frosty and Chaos is in a great spot though. If he gets one bandage toss off into the
There you
ultimate,
go.
Bone Chicken. Oh, the hook lands from Barbaric, managing to catch him through the flash. We'll get a return kill off of that though. They don't have their Trundle and they don't have their Jinx. They have to retreat here because Runic Blade, he's popped that hunt and he's going forward, but very quick pickups. Like, it's so interesting how close the gold is between these two teams, but you look at the items and you look at the damage coming out from NSG. That's strictly off levels. That's strictly off the ability that got earlier spikes and earlier peaks. And Blossom, baby, you got to get out of there. You're excited, but you got to move because you're in danger.
Will it be enough? Apparently it will not. Shackles, rude push, some silver bolts and some black magic, and there you go. That's one dead powder.
Yeah. Kev, I just what is Lit Club's win condition now, right? Because we're at this 25-minute mark. The gold, they don't even have, like, they have a tiny gold lead and they're still so down bad in this situation, right? They're trying to shore up everything with towers and towers and towers, but these neutral objectives falling
Wait,
fast.
Baron is melted. Oh my god.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, that's the vein.
I really think that they just need to keep playing with the Trundle as a
Wait,
good
speaking of
combo
playing with
angle.
stuff, look at
Oh,
Goo
no.
here. Finally, he's
It's
in
the
with a subjugate. The one the shutdown. Finally, the LCE is finding something. Will they be able to sweep them up? At least they'll get two, and the rest are on the retreat. But it looks like the chase is ensuing. Indeed, the pillar is there. Yaku has to burn his flash. They get something back, but these are 3 members with the Baron buff recalling.
It's a start.
It's a dub. Kevu, how do you feel about it?
I feel like that's exactly what they need, right? I mean, they got the Baron, but you're stalling for time, and I mean, this tower is just dead, right? They they pretty much evaporate any tower that they walk up to. But it should be interesting. I really want to. I think it's more interesting to see how NSG plays around the Trundle. Because if they really continue to try and force team fights, at a certain point in the game, I think even Trundle by himself will push them.
Just stepping in here, Dragon Soul point for NSG coming up here in 45 seconds. They do have Baron. They have time to push, and look at how much vision they are putting down.
We have ultimates.
On the side. They could fight whenever they wanted to. That's the whole thing. Like, the trigger finger for NSG is super high, as Becky Rita once again popping that Maokai ultimate, only getting onto the tanks. And speaking of the tanks, Frosty gonna throw a bandage toss in. So is Barbaric Champion. It's just they control the pace of these fights. It's a matter of can they counterpunch Lit Club, rather, as we do have the pings coming out. Look at this. There's no vision for Lit Club, as Becky Rita luckily didn't get collapsed on by that tank team. This is Soul Point. 7 seconds. It's spawning out here. Lit Club want to contest this in some fashion, right? You see them positioning.
Wait, Death Bush.
Wards.
Death Bush.
Nah, they're not gonna fall for it. I don't believe they will. There's no ultimate from Maokai. From Becky Rita getting zoned off by the support. And look how fast this dragon is melting. They're being kept off the side. Becky Rita by themselves up against the entire brunt of the team. And this is Cloud Soul going the way of NSG so easily. And this is just getting worse and worse over time for Lit Club if they can come back from this.
Yeah, and I mean, yet again, Maokai just unable to really do work. I mean, this champion is designed for zone control. Their comp is designed for this really big zone control with the traps, with the
I'm ready, the
Azure.
fight is gonna start. Sorry, Kevu. They just decided to pull the trigger. Curse of the South Mummy. The wild growth will not grow you up enough. And there goes the first slaughter to the absolute plow that is NSG.
Yeah, I think with Baron coming off, they are able to survive the onslaught for now. But like I was saying, as Lit Club, you really have to be first to these objectives, or you are just going to lose. Your zone control is your biggest advantage in these team fights, but unable to get there first, unable to set up because of the push by NSG. And we are just going to, I think, back off here. Everyone's going to get resets, going to start completing some items. Of course, Vayne, with what is now a very common build, with the Kraken and the Rage Blade. I'm interested to see what the rest of the team for both sides do end up deciding to go. Malphite, this player yet again, opting for a let me buy a Bramble and just sit on it. Losing
The good old
he's-
anti-heal.
Who
Yeah.
needs grief? Who needs a full 60%
So-
grievous
so,
wounds check,
I-
right? Who needs it?
I do want to talk about this though. Trundle looks like is now building Bork after stopping to buy Frostfire Gauntlet.
Crossfire. Yeah. That's I mean, I understand one of two sides. I either understand the tank, Hullbreaker, and speaking of tanks, here comes Barbaric. Will he be able to find anything? Well, not enough. So let's see. Ku on the other hand though, like we were talking about it. Hullbreaker, tank. I get it. Like you, oh, I'm so tanky. I'm gonna hit the tower, and you're not even gonna damage me enough to scratch me. But then going for the Borg, that makes me wonder, why did you even go for the Hullbreaker? Why didn't we maybe see a Divine and then another Bruiser item? Maybe that's Dan's trying to be there, be more of a menace in the team fight. And
He's
looks
just
like, look at Vike, he's like
just
standing
standing
there
there,
menacingly. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Itemization sins have been committed throughout this entire game. You're going up against literally 5 champions that all have hard CC, and not one of you has decided to buy QSS in any form or fashion. Like, yeah, there's the Banshee Veil on Boat Chicken, and yeah, Blossom Vein does have the cleanse, but that is not going to be enough. You know, you want the Mikhails coming out from Ami Anki. You want someone else to buy the Quicksilver Sash items. You know, like it's not too much of a detriment for you to take a detour off and grab the Silver Mirror or the Mercurial Scimitar, right? I think in this situation, Ku could have rushed the Silver Mirror Dawn and be perfectly fine with the Hullbreaker, with that, and definitely gone Divine Sunder over the Frostfire Gauntlet. It's just not really the perfect itemization, but unfortunately, that's hindsight 2020. Although there is time to sell some of your items and buy something up real fast.
Well,
as
there
we
is
have
time, but the time is ticking for the Baron. It is up, and it shall go down as they're trying to burst it as fast as they can. Ku, though, absolutely stumped here by the Malphite. Can't even get past them.
Becky!
Meanwhile, look at it. Becky once again being in between everyone.
Where's the
Manages
team?
to last the advantage, but not enough for the drop line. But there you go. Getting
Awesome.
excited, but the Vayne is melting the
Focus!
front line.
Target
Okay, there we
focus!
go. Unstoppable force. The TP is there, and your ADC is no more. And Ku didn't find a TP in response. Instead, he elects to recall. And well, that is the Baron. 2 members down, 4-3. But the Baron was the big play here. Oh my god, Ku. Just that TP was enough to force everybody to recall.
Oh my
What a
God.
hero play.
They just don't
Dude,
have the
this
damage
is
to finish
actually
the
the play of
Baron.
the game. Yeah, this is the play of the game. They don't have the damage. They don't have the time because they're scared of Ku getting an inhibitor. Now will be the question. Will he be able to escape? I don't think so. The binding is there. The exhaust
Oh
is
my
there.
God.
We have nowhere to go, troll. Your troll judge, your jury, but they will be the executioners of the troll eventually. Eventually.
He's living for so long. Oh my god.
Yeah, there we
Eventually
go.
we'll go down. And it's you just look at that entire Baron fight, right? Both the ADCs, main damage dealers on their team, doing as much work as they possibly could to stall for as long as they could. Both of them getting resets in that fight, but eventually both getting taken down, right? But unfortunately for the side of NSG, the entirety of the consistent damage is the
Wait,
runic
Becky,
blade.
not
That's-
again. Not
Oh
again.
my
Natural
God.
Grasp will not save
again.
you. You are binded. You are rooted. You are stuck behind the wall. And this time, there is no answer. The shuffle is not there in time. And that Baron is gonna evaporate, Becky. Oh, wait, Becky who?
Becky who?
Kev-
Becky's dead.
Kev, yeah, Becky's dead. Exactly.
Look at the
So-
pings over to Dragon though, Kevbo. Like, do you think they have the ability to take this down? Or no, they're recalling once again. Lit Club, show some spine, show some gusto, do something.
Kev,
Yeah,
how do you think? Is it over?
I unfortunately, I think they just get blown out of the game here. I think they're going to try to force a pick or just take this Elder and then just walk it down mid. I mean, you have so much engage, and
No, if they lose the Elder, I think they lose the game. I don't think they have enough to withstand the tanks and the Vayne with the Elder.
Barbaric Champion is actually the chattiest.
Oh, never
That's
mind,
Bone
both.
Chicken. Oh my goodness. He has to run under the tower. Yeah, they're just too strong. Sold up, baroned up, got the Elder as well. It's the victory march looking the way for NSG. Well, boys, we're looking towards that 2-0. It was just not to whatever team we thought. Turns out substitutes win games after all. As this big victory march, they do have a wave to work with. Honestly, even if Lit Club wanted to step up, they probably would not be able to get anything done. But showing patience, Natural Selection, they are going to wrap around and actually try to take out this bot tower instead, showing a little bit of restraint.
Yeah, very big wave, and they're electing to play it, I would say, the correct way, which I'll give it to Kev here very quickly. Do you think this wave, like stacking up a big wave, is the correct call, right?
Yeah, I mean, you already have natural push from that bot side, and you know we talk about in esports about playing the percentage game. You don't want to just dive this tower and take a 50-50 when you can play the 70-30 here where you're taking a second inhibitor and then
Okay, the 30 will need to provide the miracle, though, as the Azir is rooted up. The Dragon's Breath will be there, and Azir is next. Triple for the Vayne, but she's gonna die to the turret too strong. And the tanks are trying to find anything. Vicky dead with the binding. The shackles, will he melt? He will, and this is Ami Anki, the last member standing. Maybe not for long. Will not be, as the double kill for Karma here. Wrapping up 20-10. And this is a clean 2-0 for Natural Selection.
Holy cow, just absolute destruction. Whew, not a fun day to be a Lit Club fan, as it just didn't work, like it just was, they were unable to stabilize, because that early game was very even, very back and forth for both of these teams, was not able to stabilize out for Lit Club, as this just literally all roll over comp from Natural Selection just completely did them in.
Yep, I'll give it to Kevbo. So, what do you think made the difference in both games, like the objective game? What was the main factor? Was it a specific player moving and helping the team, or was it just an entire macro performance? What do you think, Kevbo?
I don't want to go too in depth because we all are here, to support these players and have fun. But I think I really would have liked to see a better performance from Ku in the top side. I think you had a counter pick in both matches, and you really didn't do anything with it. So I think they had clear win cons. I think they had a better draft in the first game for sure, and in that second game they had an obvious win condition in the trundle, and they just didn't play to it, and they didn't perform when they were on the champions they needed to.
Agreed. And yeah, with that being said, we did it. We made it through a 2-0 week.
There you go.
Surprising.
Your wish has been fulfilled.
I mean, yeah, was it the team that I predicted to win? Not at all. But hey, we take those.
And well, I think with that out of the way, that will be NSG to bask in their glory, and back to the drawing board for Lit Club here. And that should be it for today, if I'm not mistaken.
We have a little bit of a breakdown, just a little bit of a breakdown. So,
yeah,
what interesting enough, I really would love to break down that game a lot, because it was so close, all things considered, right? Like, even though Natural Selection were getting a lot of these kills in these spaces, the gold was still even. Was it in the pocket of a trundle that didn't really itemize that well? Yes, but also in the pocket of that Jinx, who did have the item lead, like literally had Mythic before Vayne, literally had the second item before Vayne. They were not able to carry just due to how the composition was being played from their team. Things to look on for next week, as we're still getting that whole MVP business sorted out.
I'll let Kevbo have the word first.
Yeah, we still have a very close group here in Group A. I think either of these teams still absolutely can make it into playoffs. So it's really just about continuing to trend upward. It's about practicing and becoming better. You know, there's not so much that tapering that you do at the end of the split, but we will be seeing these teams, I think, maybe even force a little bit harder, opposite to traditional sports. You're not going to relax your cardio. You're not going to do anything like that. You're not going to slow down. I really want to see both of these teams put in some work, really. I want to see them grind towards this end of the split and see if they can push for a playoffs berth.
It'll be very
Well,
difficult.
okay. I'll just give a little bit of a heads up on what I think is all in the game. If there is anyone on like the side of Lick Club that would love to hear. So I think what happened is you have had your side where you have your strength, which is the split push. At first you had the Aurelia, then you had the Trundle. You were able to capitalize to get the turrets, but the transformative value of that gold wasn't enough to match the Team 5 prowess, especially that the comms at the side of natural selection picked are much easier. It's like land this one bit of CC from any one of the 3 members and you win. And I think that is what happened. Well, like dredge lines have been good all game. I'll just say, like, everyone on the side of natural selection have played to what their comp needed, but the same thing can't be said for the side of LCE because they made themselves be in a position where they have to do more and they have to do the harder work to be on the same foot as the Death Ball.
I have to agree. There were so many situations where Lit Club didn't do anything, right? Like there were just so many situations where they didn't have the vision down, they didn't get there first, they weren't able to set up tempo. When you have a jungler, in this case in game number 2, Maokai jungle, you're supposed to gank. You saw how many times Becky Rita was stepping up to be the initiator, was getting the ultimates down, getting the saplings, getting the twisted advances down multiple times, but the rest of the team was not able to follow up in so many situations, right? We saw we saw Chicken rather getting absolutely blasted, having to use a Zero ultimate defensively 90% of the time, which is not how you want this operation to go, right? You want the Maokai to go in, then you want to shuffle them up into a barrel pit with the Azir ultimate and just have your have Blossom just free fire all the time. It just was not being able to, come to fruition because of how Death Bally the comp that NSG put out. And honestly, like, maybe just gets a little bit more ease of execution compositions for Lit Club going into these last few weeks, because like I said, week 4, this was the do or die time. Here on out, you guys are playing for that playoff berth. Four teams out of each group get out. Y'all are sitting at 6 now. Y'all have to consistently win your next 3 weeks if you want to get into playoffs, along with a few other number shenanigans. But it's put up or shut up time, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. With that though, I don't believe we are running our own MVP poll this evening, as we are down. We are down a dodge, so no ability to run a poll. But what do you all think? What's your personal votes for the MVP of the series here?
I'll give the word to Crow. Go ahead.
I would say, I mean, for me personally, I really did appreciate the fact that Frosty coming in on the substitute role, just being like, all right, let's do it, let's run it up, let's have fun, get it going. Even though being down a little bit early game, in both games actually, I believe, but able to just pull it back and just be so pivotal with a lot of the engages, finding those flanks, finding those angles, and just being, facilitator to let Runic do as much damage as possible, and also Karma Divine for, just beating an Azir in lane on a Morgana, like, should not be happening, but hey, he made it work. But I would say, give it to Frosty, the man deserves it.
I mean, if I say so myself, we can just say Frosty because of the camaraderie and whatnot. I'm more of a realist. If I'm gonna give it to somebody, I'm probably gonna give it to Barbaric. The man was on a tear.
Yeah.
He pretty much gave a lot of the CC to everybody on Silver Platter. He was the initiator. Like, a lot of people will follow up, but he's the one that kickstart. He's the ignite to the fuse. He's the one that got a lot of engages in the bot lane. He's helping Runic. He's able to roam and go help the other lanes. The macro of the team as a whole is great, but I would say a lot of it comes from the fact that it's so easy when you have, I would say, a Nautilus or a CC support that is just setting everything up for you, and you have a much easier time there in your CC.
Agreed. Kevbo, how are you feeling on MVP wise?
I personally think we're underselling here the Runic Blade. I think they had phenomenal game in both
Hold on,
games.
I wasn't underselling it. I was just saying, like, ADC is a good positioning, are hard to come by for sure. But continue.
They died, I think, once in the first game. Riot client is working really well, so I unfortunately cannot pull up the actual match histories for either of those games. But I believe a lot of kills, not too many deaths, and really kind of carried some of the damage in the team. I mean, the first game, you had Morgana and Kai'Sa, and that was the only damage you had. So their ability to really play and position in these team fights well, I think, went a long way. So I'm gonna go ahead and hand it on over to them.
I feel that. I totally get that. Yeah, for sure. Like Runic being, one of the sole damage conditions of their team, being able to make it work, the carry of your dreams, the one you always want on your team, just so good. But yeah, so like I said, we don't have the poll running in the chat, unfortunately. Shout out to everybody that did come by tonight for the games. It wasn't as hyper competitive as we originally were thinking. It was the 2-0 week, thankfully not the 3-0. Thankfully not the 2-1, the 3-game series, as is normal tradition here on VAS. But with that being said, any final statements from either you two, my esteemed colleague, gentlemen?
Well, I'll say it's always a blast, like having like these kind of like VAS leagues, because it's a lot of fun. Even substitutes can come in and just shake the game over, because maybe you had an idea of what the jungler would be playing, and then suddenly the other guy plays everything different. Like we've seen like Frosty is just like, I'm chill back. I'm just gonna play the junglers that are gonna help the team. Maybe you would think, oh, the other jungler has a bigger mind share, and you want to go into that. And now you have more agency in like other lanes, because the jungler isn't really being looked at as much as the other people. And even with Vayne Blossom coming in today, which I think that was his debut, because he wasn't eligible because of the game volume, if I remember correctly. Like that's supposed to be your exception player, but it didn't pass the course, and the sub was able to like stand the test of time and walk the plank here on the side of natural selection. So a lot of these stuff are the fun parts of VAS, so I'll be very excited to see how the groups are going to conclude and how well they fare in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely have some front runners here for the groups. But for me, just be sure to make sure we're checking out all of the other leagues that are going on. I believe we might still have some Valorant going on right now, so be sure to hop over and check that out. Of course, you're going to have leagues throughout the week. Be sure to check all of our ats out. You can catch us on Twitter, and look out for maybe some special Kevbo exclusive content going to be coming out here.
Ooh.
In a little bit. Well, I mean, it's still going to be on Victoris, but I have the brain going, so maybe going to be seeing some spicy content pieces come out, especially on the VTS podcast. I'm not sure if we're doing it tonight, but that will be sometime this week. Be sure to check that out, and check out the rest of the Victoris content out. I believe you can hit !Discord and get in on the action yourself. So be sure to check out the rest of what's going on.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I think the Valorant guys do have the 3-game series. So, Crow, you've been lucky on this one.
Yeah, I mean, we got lucky tonight. Definitely go watch the rest of the games. Valorant's real hot. Champs, this weekend, we're going to get the finals on Sunday. I'm so excited. Let's go Optic, please. Let's just bring it home for NA. Give us something. But that will be it for us tonight here on VAS. So for myself, the rest of the broadcast team, y'all stay safe and have a wonderful night, and we will see you